Story now, and former This Morning star Dr. Ranj Singh has criticised the toxic culture on the show in a further blow to ITV.
Yeah, Dr. Ranj Singh said he had no knowledge of Philip Schofield's affair with a younger member of staff, but claimed that issues with the show go far beyond the presenter's own behaviour.
Well, in response to the statement, an ITV spokesperson said the channel was fully committed to providing every opportunity for anyone who works with them to raise any concern or comments that they may have.
So, after almost 35 years on air, can the show still go on? We've been asking you what you think.
It'd be a shame if the show was axed because of the actions of one individual. I think that they probably need to rethink the structure and the culture of the work environment there, but ultimately I think the show should go on.
Did something that was pretty, questionable. And if it was him having an affair with a girl that age, it would have been a lot more of an uproar, I think.
We don't know both sides really, so I don't like to jump to conclusions, but if it's true, it is quite bad. But I don't know, I can see people are saying that Holly's a little bit uncomfortable in some situations, but I don't know, I guess we've got to see what happens.
Well, let's speak now to PR expert Andy Barr. Good morning to you, Andy. So we've had the affair saga from Schofield, and now we've got Dr. Raj Singh speaking out about bullying and discrimination at this morning. It's very, very damaging to the brand, isn't it?
Good morning. It's really worrying for ITV. I think they're going to be in crisis comms mode all of this morning, trying to get some positive news out there and trying to understand just how badly this is going to affect their share price on Tuesday.
And in terms of the next wave of affairs coming out, the big question is, can the show survive? And what did Holly know? Because people are saying, well, a lot of people on the show have been talking about these rumours for a long time. She claims that she didn't know about them, and when she put them to Philip, he denied anything untoward was happening. But you do get the sense, don't you, that there could be more and more coming out as the days roll on.
Very much so. I think the next 14 days in any crisis comms situation is absolutely vital. And, the tabloids are already starting to put out stories this morning saying that she's been at social events with the pair of them as well. And I think, as everyone says, it's a family tight-knit show. So it would be very surprising, for her not to know, really. So I think it's going to be really interesting. They need to get all the bad news out now. Decide what the plan is. Is the show too toxic to carry on? Does it need to rebrand? Are sponsors going to pull out, and decide how they can try and fix it? And they've really got a day before it starts hitting shareholders.
Speed to ITV and This Morning. What do they need to be putting out there? What does their focus need to be in the next 24, 48 hours?
They need to reassure sponsors, they need to reassure advertisers that the brand isn't dead, because they're going to pull their spend whilst they wait for the new TV show or the new brand to come out. So the next few days, and certainly today, is going to be key to see what ITV says to try and, will they try and save This Morning, or will they just let all the bad news out and then rebrand it into a new show, bring through Alison Hammond, who everyone said is going to be the next big thing for ITV?
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. We were getting a lot of comments through from viewers this morning. Linda in Barry in Wales makes a precise point. She said, I don't see why the likes of Alison Hammond and Martin Lewis, etc., that make the programme should lose their slots. They haven't done anything wrong. Now, that makes sense on one point, but is it an easier thing to do just to rebrand the show with those familiar faces, but to change the kind of wrapping paper, as it were? Is that, from a brand perspective, a more sensible route forward?
Oh, 100%. Martin Lewis is needed by the nation at the minute, isn't he, to help us all save money. And Alison Hammond has been a huge success story for ITV. They almost coming through would be a rebrand in its own right. I think This Morning, as a show, as a concept, needs to change. The public want it to change. And I think that's what's coming through straight away from the whole Schofield affair.
And what next for Holly Willoughby? Because she's been the nation's sweetheart, hasn't she, for the best part of 2 decades. What does this mean for her?
Well, I think she's still got a lot of public goodwill in the bank. Obviously, Qgate was a huge scandal for both of them, and maybe the catalyst for it all. But for her, I think she'll be quietly sort of spirited away from the whole morning format. I think she will be given a new show on ITV somewhere. But at the minute, I think she'll probably take an extended break and weigh up all of her options.
OK, Andy Barr, thanks for your input this morning. Fascinating stuff. It's going to be one to watch. The show goes on today, at least, Ellie, 10 o'clock. With Dermot and Alison. What the viewing figures be like? Yeah. Will the associated sort of reputation of the show just be a turn-off for what is actually a very wholesome, family-orientated audience?
And that's what's going to be so difficult, Martin, because, as you say, it's a family show. It's all this light-hearted warmth about it. And now we're having front page of the newspapers this morning with one of the main guests on the programme calling it toxic, talking about bullying and discrimination at the heart of this morning. I mean, can the brand survive? It is a British institution. It's been on air for 35 years. Yeah, and I was on the show for 6 years as a regular contributor, regular panellist. I know Dr. Ranj very well, and it's not the sort of thing he would not want to damage the show, is what I'm saying. You know, he's a respectable guy. He's been asked a lot. He was saying on his Instagram feed he's been offered a lot of money to tell his story. He doesn't want to go down that route. So he's saying, I think, it's not just about the two stars. It's about the associated atmosphere at the show. Having said that, as we keep saying, there are a lot of great people who work on these programmes and it's not their fault. So it's a shame that everyone gets dragged into this, Ellie. Yeah, no, it is a shame for those really hard-working members of the team who are hearing about this, just the same as you and I, on the front pages of the newspapers. It must be really, really tough for them. And for people like Dr. Ranj, who said he wanted to speak out about it because he stands for health and well-being. He's a doctor. He does health segments. He felt he had to say something. He felt like a whistleblower. And then he felt like he was pushed out of the programme. Let us know what you think at home. gbviews@gbnews.com. Does the show need rebranding? Does it need doing away with? Should Holly come back? Should somebody else come in? Does it need to have fresh meat? Let us know what you think at home. Yeah, good stuff. OK, moving on to our next story now. British police officers will be tasked with cracking down on people smuggling gangs in North Africa amid concerns that 400,000 people will attempt to enter Europe through Italy this summer. Well, the warning comes ahead of a trip to the region by Immigration Minister